Hola, amigos. This is Bill once again with a great recipe that I think I almost perfected. So this will be the time I make it absolutely perfect, right? Because I'm being taped. Um, Believe it or not, it's a shrimp chowder, and it's a little bit different than like a clam chowder, and you're going to see why with some of the accents and flavoring we use. But trust me, it's going to be just awesome. So we're going to start. I want enough butter to make a good coating on the bottom, so it's like 3 tablespoons, maybe a little more. I'm just waiting for the last of it to get really roasty toasty. You know, sometimes when butter's in the fridge, it takes forever to melt. You have to burn it if you rush it. And I got a whole sweet onion that I chopped up real pretty fine. I just want to get this started. Nothing like a little onion cooking, right? And this is quite a bit of onion, but it's well worth it. There it goes. I'm just going to get that started. Don't want it to burn, so we're going to keep it less than medium, alright? You know your stove better than I do. Then I chopped up pretty finely a couple stalks of celery and a couple carrots. Actually, on the carrots, I had wings and dressing with carrots to dip, so you know they're already cut up. And so I probably got about 6 hefty ones of those, but it's equal to about 2 carrots, okay? Use what you got, don't throw it away. So we need the celery for flavor. The carrots are going to really sweeten it up. What I like about these chowders is that you can kind of do whatever you want, and you're going to end up with a product that's just great. And I think chowders are, in my mind, are like one step removed from like stew, but cooked differently. But I like having all the stuff in it, you know. It all has to compete. Just get that. And I see there are a couple of pieces that I didn't completely cut through. I was in a hurry this morning. And it's cold in here. And actually turn on the heat. I know you people up north are going, listen to you complain, and I'm like, hey, you know, I did my time. Alright, so I just want everything to just be cooking just a little bit. So nice. Watch pot never boils, so I'll just keep my eyes off them, right? Like I'm not even paying attention. Oh, there it is. Look, I almost forgot about it. Yeah, now we're starting to make things happen in here. And as you can see, there's a lot of stuff in here. That's like beautiful. So I'm making enough for, you know, 6 good-sized bowls. The way I like it, maybe more. Because this is a bowl of soup, okay? Everything else is like useless. You go to a restaurant and you get a bowl of soup, this is what you should get. I'm not saying they can't charge you like 30, 40 bucks for it. I'm just telling you that's what you should get. Okay, onions turning. So of course, I need a pinch of garlic. Okay, so it's like 3 cloves. Garlic, just tell me, okay? Just straight up. Alright. Everything's looking really, really pretty in here, okay? So, what do we got to do next? Well, this is where I like to kind of deviate and make it a little of my own. So I got a little dry sherry, doesn't matter what kind it is, as long as you'd be willing to drink it, even though I won't drink sherry. But anyway, just a quarter cup. 1, 2. While that's getting happy, I'm going to throw a bay leaf in. I'm going to use one of my tricks. These bay leaves are actually a little old and some are kind of small, so I'm going to put 2 in. Because, you know, once you hit that, like, and in that cupboard for a year, double it up. I need some black pepper. And really what I'm doing right now is kind of stalling so we can get that alcohol cooking out. And I like black pepper in here, so I'll do this long enough for it to cook out, right? Arm's getting tired, so I guess that's enough. Actually, it's feeling kind of light. I think I need to refill it. And this is my secret ingredient. I'm going to put in here like 2 teaspoons of Old Bay seasoning, because we're going to make it kind of more Maryland thing happen here. I think it's that New England way, but I just thought this would be fun. Now we got it going on. Oh. Yeah, this is like fancy schmancy, like really good. This is going to be really fun. Okay, I'm just promising you that. Alright, next thing. I need a couple cups of stock, broth, whatever you got at home. And I was actually going to get vegetable because that might be preferred in here. But it was too gosh darn expensive and I already had some BOGO stuff at home. So this you kind of have to eyeball because it really depends on the next step. Actually, make sure we get this. Yeah, we're good. We're good. So I'm going to go 2 cups. Uno. Dos. Okay, let's go to 3 cups. Just have to make sure I got enough in here, and I want to get it back to steaming. And it was room temperature, so it shouldn't take long. I have a funny feeling I'm going to have to put more in, but we'll see. Alright, so this is what we got. This is where we do some eyeballing. I got some Yukon Gold potatoes. Usually I'd say like 2 big potatoes, and I was like, well, what's 2 big potatoes? Well, of course, I went to the market and they didn't have really big ones, so I said, well, I'll cut up 3 and we're going to play a little game and we're going to see. I always feel like you want enough potato to really kind of equal the other veggies in the pot. but that means we might need more broth, okay? So when I cut them up, I put them in ice cold water. Now I'm just going to start getting handfuls. Shake, shake, shake them good, okay? And don't let it spider and burn you. Not too big, you know, I mean, this is probably going to be really close. I want just a little more. So like I said, if these were really big, you'd have enough, but they weren't, so. And you know, people talk about, oh, make sure they're even sized so they cook evenly. Folks, this is all being boiled, so it's not like you're sauteing. Alright, now I gotta try and mix this in. I want to make sure everything's covered. And just like I suspected, I got a traffic jam here. So I'm going to put that last cup in here. And I'm just going to pour until it's covered, okay? Heck yeah. Beautiful now. Alright, so what I need to do is let this come up to a boil, a simmer. I'm sorry, I need a simmer. I'm going to simmer for about 10 minutes. So as soon as I see those little bubbles, which I should pretty soon, because I add this up a little more in medium, so it should happen pretty quickly. The potatoes are really cold though, so that's going to slow it down a little bit. As soon as I do, I want to cover it, turn it down, and give it like 10 minutes to let those potatoes and everything in there kind of get a little happy in the spoon pool, okay? So, just starting to see them, so I'll give it another minute. In the meantime, I'll get this all set up. I'm going to clean up my kitchen, and I'll be back and I'll show you how we're going to make this really cool, funky soup. Chowder. Well, lo and behold, we simmered for 10 minutes. Everything is so happy, and I'm happy. So what's the next step? Well, this is an interesting process, and I learned about it probably a while years ago, but I never understood the importance of it. So I'm making a roux, kind of a French way. And what's interesting is if you've ever made like pie crust and you cut butter into flour, you understand the process. This just takes it another step. So I've got 3 tablespoons of flour and butter, and each, and I'm going to throw some in here. It has to be room temperature, and you got to knead it with your fork forever. I'm going to let it melt in here. This is going to be this like really cool roux kind of thing. I just want to get the consistency to start to stand up. It already changed the color. It should take all of it, but if you see that it's starting to thicken too much, stop. Just stop. So now I've got the majority in, so we'll see. It's definitely doing its job. It's definitely steaming my glasses. That's what its job is. Alright, getting all that little stuff in there to mix. While I'm doing this, I've spotted my bay leaves so they can come out. And I did have extra liquid in here by a couple cups, so we want to make sure that we got enough. And this looks really good. Okay, so now I use my whisk just because I want to make sure I don't get any clumps of flour in there. Even though I worked it hard, you just never know. So you gotta be careful. Only time I really get concerned. All right, so what's next? Well, I gotta turn it down because it's boiling a little bit. I can hear it. You can't hear it, but I can. All right, so next what I need to do is we need to get that cream product in here, or the milk product, dairy product, I'm sorry. So I told you I want to make enough for leftovers, right? So I'm going to put in 6 cups of half and half. This is where all of a sudden you're going to realize that you don't have not enough liquid. Oh, nearly. Don't pour too fast, you'll have a mess. Oh, no. So we've captured all that really good flavor. We've made a really good roux. We've done everything right, hopefully. And now I just have to stir it. So this is where patience is a virtue. And this already looks just amazing. So why this is getting hot again, because that was straight out of the fridge. And this is what everyone's going to think about when they're making this lovely, lovely chowder. Oh, man. So while it's getting all happy, so sherry is really great in the beginning because it gets to kind of cook out, but I want to add some more kind of depth to it. I want to change that profile a little bit. So what I'm going to do, and I know this sounds like me going blah 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 blah, but I got a cup of white wine, and this is just like a Pinot Grigio. Use anything that you would drink, you know, not the cheap stuff that you wouldn't drink. And it really doesn't matter, it's really your preference. I mean, I wouldn't go with anything that's like barrel oak aged or whatever, you know, because you want to have some, oh, it smells really good. You know, we just want to kick up that flavor profile a little bit. And now's not the time to taste it, okay? Because it'd probably be a little over the top. But as I can see, I'll show you in a second. It's stunning. And I've always got a little my secret Burmini. The flour, I've probably got a little bit left. If this doesn't hit the desired thickness, but I think as it comes to temperature, it's definitely going to. So this is where you don't want to walk away. Don't go, you know, out and have a cigarette or watch your favorite game show, because you want to really make sure we don't destroy it. And just want to, so what I like to do is I like to stir it, touch it, and I had to taste it. Whoa. Yeah, all right. So I actually know what I'm doing. Wow. So it is getting toasty in here. So really, you want to watch this pot because you don't want it to boil. Okay, that's my helpful hint. And what I want to do is I'm just starting to see the steam. I'm not getting bubbles yet. I'm not sure I want to let it get to a boil. I just want a good steaming. And I'm going to stir it pretty consistently, just making sure everything's good. It's going to probably take about 10 minutes of this slow heating and getting everything back mixed together, getting all that flour broken down. So as you can see, I've got a good coating on my spoon. So I think consistency is right there. I talked about, you know, stews and chowders and all that earlier, and with a few exceptions, I don't want everything to taste like it's been thickened with, you know, a pound of flour, because that typically, that's kind of a restaurant thing. They're not a really great restaurant, and you can always tell there's the texture, you know. When it gets cool, you can scoop it like ice cream, it's got way too much flour. You can achieve the same goal with a little bit of butter and flour. You can increase the butter fat by putting butter, like I cooked everything in butter. You know, I didn't use olive oil. I made my beurre. Oh, yeah, this is just like beautiful. It's really steaming and holding together. And I'm going to be really careful with it. But anyway, so I'm going to sit here and stir, and I don't want to bore you, but I'm going to stir for probably about 6 more minutes, because I'm doing it for about 4. And then I'm going to come back and show you how we finish it off. Be right back. Here you can see there are some bubbles just starting to come to the surface. It's kind of putting a skin on it, but that's all we want. In fact, I'm going to turn it down just a little bit. Let's see if we can't just, and you can see the thickness and the creaminess of this and how wonderful it is. And this is just minutes literally away from being done. So let's get it finished up. We'll see what it looks like. So this is really beautiful. Just cooked it. Want to see the change in thickness? It's really thick on the spoon now. Really creamy, really delicious. Just trying to stir it so keep the bubbles down. So one of the things, I want to add some sweetness to it. So I thought, well, I know I've got carrot in there, but let's throw some corn in there, because I happen to have some frozen corn in the freezer. Try not to splash myself and burn myself. I want to get that back up to temperature, which it is. I don't think it changed one bit. So last but not least, why we're making this really a happy dish, is, so I got some shrimp, and these were really pretty good size, so I just cut them in half. Alright, because you don't want it bigger than your spoon. Just want to get this. So I'm going to very gently, these are all peeled and cut in half, and these are local. These are from the Gulf. I'll throw these in here a little bit at a time. And I will make a believer out of you that this is like poaching, because that's the best way to cook. Well, no, I shouldn't say the best way. It's a really good way to cook, especially in the, shrimp under these circumstances. Trying to get too much water, liquid in here, but it is going to add a little flavor. So, turning up just a little bit. I want to see the steam rising. I'm going to stir. And because the mixture was so hot, The corn did cool it down probably a little bit, but I'm already seeing the shrimp turning pink. So it doesn't take long at all. I resist boiling shrimp. It's the first thing on my no-no list. Oh yeah, this is beautiful. Just gonna get everybody happy. And really, just watch for it turn color. You know, they're gonna go from that opaque to all white. And you know by the time they've cooked, you know the corn's hot and the corn's already gotten everything else happy. Oh, yeah, beautiful. This really is going to be good, I swear. And I know it's a little extravagant, but you know, once in a while, like if you're going to have friends over, you want to kind of impress them, or family. I know you never need to impress your family, right? This is just a great thing. You know, cold day, you can make it like you've spent all day in this, and really even cutting stuff up, it's like 30 minutes start to finish, right? And that's like two 10-minute breaks where you can clean up, or you know, give some kid a few bucks to clean up for you, right? Yeah, we're almost there, almost. And the consistency of this is just, it's so velvety. I mean, it's just so good. The flavors, I love that sherry really mellowed out. And the white wine we put in the kind of the second round, and the Bailey's extracted just enough to make that part of it really happy. I don't like to leave it in, especially if I'm going to reheat it later. And I don't like to serve bay leaves, so I take them out. But believe it or not, the Old Bay seasoning is really kind of a hidden little gem in there, because I didn't overdo it. As you can see, there's a huge amount of liquid here. I mean, we've got quarts of liquid, right? So that just gave a nice gentle back flavor to it, and it just smells so good. And let me see. Oh, I got the back of the spoon I'm going to pick stuff up with. Carrots are still nice, potatoes are still nice and firm. And you can see on the shrimp how it's really turned white and gotten firm. How perfect that is. And I think all of them will be that way shortly. The potato, I can dig it with my fingernail, so I know it's good. So I'm going to give it just another minute here. And like anything else, I don't like burning everyone's mouth. So if I'm going to be serving this right away, and all of my pots and pans are really heavy bottom, so they're going to hold heat. And that's a danger. So if you're making something and you turn off the stove right when it's ready, and people start serving up and everything, you come back half hour later and everything's a little overcooked, or it's gotten really skinned from being overcooked. So I always like to turn it off, or just down at least, depending on your stove, and just keep stirring for another minute. Yeah, everything's good. Visual inspection, everything's good. Because it's almost boiling point. And we don't, if you do a good job with your roux and your creams, sauces, you shouldn't have to worry about them, you know, breaking. It's just paying attention to them. But man, oh man, it's really hard for me to talk as I smell this, because I'm like really in love with it, okay? And this is going to be bowls for the week. Cold weather, cold rainy weather this week, and I'm all in. So like I said, you know, I like the idea of using the shrimp. You can usually find shrimp at the big, the big box discount places that are decent. I can get them usually from a local store because these are local, so I can usually get them just about the same price. They don't have to be huge, but don't buy those little petite ones. They're tough. It's better to buy big ones and cut them because you want the texture of it. Alright, believe it or not, I've done my job, done my duty, and so, and that's beautiful, the way it's just running off the spoon, the creaminess. There's no, oh Lord, there's no hint of, flour, the roux. You'd never guess that I put 3 tablespoons of flour in here, which isn't a lot for this big pot, but the sweetness of the carrots, everything is just perfect. You don't want to just eat the carrot to taste it, you want it to be cooked in your meal. That's why I hate when restaurants, they would do everything kind of live, cook to order, throw stuff together and think it's going to be good. Well, it can be good, but sometimes it's not the best way. So, I'm going to see how we're going to dish this up, what it looks like. Oh, man. Oh, Lord. Let's get some of that beautiful. Oh. Now if you're trying to be fancy and look pretty, that's the way you do it. If you don't care, then load it up as much as you want. My biggest fear is I hate serving something that someone doesn't like, so they just kind of ignore it because that's so wasteful. But this is just beautiful. You can just see everything in it. So if I were really trying to impress my friends and family, this morning I cut up a little fresh chive, and I just want to do the little sprinkle all around. And believe it or not, that's going to add a little flavor to it. Those first couple spoonfuls, it's going to taste really great. So, and it's like tea leaves, they can try and read it. Well, what is it saying, okay? What's my horoscope? Let me tell you, this is so good. You're gonna just die when you taste it. I hope you don't die, because I want you to keep watching my videos. But anyway, it's really good. I thank you for taking the time to watch this video. And if you speed through it, as long as you get the gist and you see the recipe, and maybe it'll make you want to stop and go through it again. And I did want to tell you, you can put up to like 1.5 pounds of shrimp in here. I had a little less than that. I think it came out to like 1.3 by the time we had shelled it and guessed it. But anyway, you can go as crazy with the shrimp as you want. Everything else is kind of like just the way I did it. You can cut back on the shrimp if you want, that's fine. But anyway, I just want to thank you guys so much. I dream about this stuff and what I'm going to make, and most of the time it turns out pretty darn good. And I like when it turns out good, hate when it doesn't. But this is one of those things that's really going to make you happy, smile. And like I said, I appreciate everything you do, and I will have another video for you shortly. Have a great day.